Hey y'all, I'm Stuart here. Today we are writing and solving two-step equations in distributive property form. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these here. Anaya is making 6 scarves that require 1¼ yards of purple fabric and a certain amount of blue fabric. She will use 10 yards in all. Determine how many yards of blue fabric are needed for each scarf. Okay, so one thing to notice when we are setting up equations in this format is that you're going to have a group of things that are all the same. Okay, so remember the parentheses are grouping symbols. So you're going to have a group of things that are going to be all the same. In this case, we have 6 scarves and each of the 6 scarves are going to require the same thing. They're going to require 1¼ yards of purple fabric and a certain amount of blue fabric. Okay. And then uh, and that's going to be for all the scarves. Okay. And now, because this problem says we have 6 scarves, we're going to be multiplying the 1¼ for the purple and however much blue we use by each of the 6 scarves. Okay. So we're setting up our distributive property. And then it says she will use 10 yards in all. Okay. So that's going to equal 10. Okay. And then in order to solve this problem from here, we are just going to use our distributive property, or you can do that divide by 6. Either way is totally fine. I'm going to go ahead and do distributive property here today, or for right now. And 6 times 1¼ is going to give me 7½. So we get 7.5 or 7½ I guess I'll keep it as a fraction. And then plus 6b. 6 times b is 6b equals 10. And this gives us a two-step equation that we can solve from here. Subtract 7½ from both sides, and that gives you 2½. So 6b equals 2½. And then we're going to divide by 6 on both sides to solve. So b equals, and then we had 2½ divided by 6 is going to be 5/12 yards of blue fabric. Okay, so she will use 5/12 yards of blue fabric for each scarf. Okay. There's another one, number 2, also has some fractions involved. Let's look at one that's maybe a little more simple just because it has whole numbers here. Pete is making 8 identical fruit baskets as a gift. Each basket contains some apples and 12 oranges. Pete uses a total of 168 pieces of fruit to make the baskets. So again, the distributive property, we have that grouping symbol. We're going to have 8 fruit baskets. Okay, the fruit baskets have apples and oranges, and that's going in each of those 8 baskets. So we're going to have apples plus our 12 oranges, and we're going to multiply that by 8 total baskets, and we're going to use 168 total pieces of fruit. Okay, that's apples and oranges combined. All right, and then here we're going to solve. And for this one, I'm going to divide by that number out in front. So I got 168 divided by 8, and that gives me 21. So now I'm left with a plus 12 equals 21. Okay, and from here I can just subtract 12 from both sides. Okay, and I get a equals 9. So that means 9 apples in each basket and 12 oranges in each basket. So there's a total of 21 pieces of fruit per basket. Okay, so that's kind of what those numbers represent in the context of this problem. Okay, so there's another one similar to that with those whole numbers right next to it here. All right, let's take a look at these, see how they're just a little bit different maybe. Javier bought 3 bags of balloons for a party. He used 8 balloons from each bag. Determine how many balloons were originally in each bag. Okay, so again, we have 3 bags of balloons. Okay. And in each balloons, there was some amount of balloons, and then he used 8 of them. And then once he used those 8, there were 21 balloons left over. Okay. So this one, we're trying to figure out how many were originally in each bag. Okay. And again, there were 3 total bags. He used 8 from each of those bags. So he used them. So that's going to be a minus. That's how I knew it was -8 here. So the total minus the 8 he took from all 3 bags, so he actually took a total of 24 balloons. So we have 3x and then minus 24, that's the amount he used total, equals the 21 that is left over. Okay, here we've got our two-step equation. Add 24 to both sides. Okay, I have 3x equals 45. Divide by 3. So there were 15 balloons in each bag to start. All right. And then number 6 is very similar to that.